Welcome everyone to Enigma's Analysis. I'm your host, Mr. Enigma, and today I want to discuss a really bizarre thing called the NFL Draft. Now, to those who don't get sports, the NFL Draft must be the most confusing thing on the planet Earth. And to be honest, even for those with a casual appreciation for watching large men carry a ball across an imaginary line, even for them, it might be pretty confusing why anyone would really want to watch what's basically a roided up adult version of picking teams in gym class. And to be honest, there's only one real explanation for it. Well, one explanation besides the fact that life is meaningless and we're all alone in the universe and we need something to distract ourselves from that fact. Essentially, diehard football fans are nerds. Calm down, I fully include myself in this. I am ground zero for this. But nerds aren't just a bunch of, square dudes who play Dungeons and Dragons. They come in all sorts of flavors, and being a grown man who practically lives and dies based on the way a bunch of millionaires fight over the best college jocks, yeah, in its own way, that's pretty nerdy. So the 3 or so months after the Super Bowl are enough to leave football fans like myself starving for any kind of related entertainment. So much so that we're willing to sit through a TV viewing experience that Bill Burr once effectively skewered in a stand-up bit.
That's what you get for watching the draft.
To paraphrase, the draftees' reactions are redundant and boring.
I'm gonna try to do my best. It's a great organization.
The analysts don't have anything overly interesting to say.
I think they need a cornerback.
And the event's results will be posted as soon as the event is over.
They're gonna have the whole list the next day.
Still, NFL fans crave the draft so much that professional journalists and analysts spend considerable effort drawing up mock drafts in which they attempt the utterly impossible feat of predicting team selections, completely ignoring the fact that the only ones they ever get right are the ones that any layperson could have figured out without the help of any experts. Perhaps the appeal of the draft lies in hope. It's theoretically possible for the weak teams, who generally pick before the good teams, to pull themselves out of the gutter and put themselves in the limelight eventually. Meanwhile, good teams that think they need just one more guy before they're ready for the Super Bowl get to do that here. That's why the main event of the draft is in the first round. Guys who are drafted there, if they don't turn out to be good players, it's automatically considered a disappointment for the franchise. Therefore, it's fairly easy to justify watching round 1, but things get less interesting with each passing pick. By round 4, teams are basically closing their eyes and throwing darts at a board, hoping that they'll get maybe a good backup in the future. Watching round 6 is basically just a form of masturbation. Teams' first, second, and third round picks end up being quality starters. That's considered to be a really good draft for the franchise. Of course, you get exceptions. Tom Brady, Antonio Brown, they were 6th round picks, but they're far and away the exception, not the rule. Though that goes to show you just how inexact this whole process is. Things get a little spicier when teams move up or down by trading other draft picks or even established players. If your team has a lot of holes to fill, you want to trade down so that you can get a bunch of good but not quite as great players. Meanwhile, if you need just that one guy, then you'll be willing to give away the lesser picks to get some absolute stud star player because you don't need a bunch of just okay guys. This year, the 49ers traded up with the Miami Dolphins so that the Niners could get the number 3 spot. And then after the Dolphins were at number 12, they traded back up with the Eagles. So now the Dolphins are at 6, the Eagles are at 12. It's confusing, but it's very telling because it means the 49ers are definitely going for a quarterback. The Dolphins aren't in all likelihood, but they do have their eye on somebody. And then the Eagles are content to just move down, get more picks, and still think they can get a pretty good, maybe wide receiver or cornerback where they're at. The fan bases whose teams are going for quarterbacks in the first round have the most reason to be interested because there's only so many to go around each year. This year there's about 5, and that usually has the most impact on a franchise. It's practically a lock that the Jacksonville Jaguars with the first overall pick are going to take Clemson's Trevor Lawrence. And then the New York Jets are going to grab BYU's Zach Wilson at number 2. Other teams that could conceivably lay out for a quarterback include the Atlanta Falcons, the Carolina Panthers, the Chicago Bears, the Denver Broncos, maybe the Detroit Lions, the New England Patriots, and the Washington football team. But beyond that, it's anyone's guess. The word on this year's crop of athletes is that it's a great one for offensive tackles, and a good one for cornerbacks. There's about 3 stud running backs and wide receivers. It's a mostly forgettable group of edge rushers, and it's practically a barren wasteland for tight ends and defensive tackles. Now, every year there's one agreed upon best player who's not a quarterback. This year it's Florida's tight end Kyle Pitts. Now, I hesitated when I said tight end because even though he's listed at that, he's basically a wide receiver because he can't block to save his life. So he's so good that it's entirely possible that a team that doesn't particularly need someone at that position might still draft him because he's just too good to pass up. Keep an eye on the Atlanta Falcons for that. But that's all anyone can confidently say about the 2021 NFL draft in Cleveland this year. And it's all you need to know to have a sense of what's taking place. Now, does that mean that it's worth watching or that people like me don't have a problem? Well, no, we clearly need to get a life, but at least there's quite a few of us out there anesthetizing ourselves with this stuff. In the meantime, for you sane people, hopefully you'll now have months worth of small talk for that one nutty football-obsessed coworker you got in your life who is already planning on getting the jersey for some first-round rookie who was a kid in college 6 months ago. Or at the very least, you'll understand him a little better. Whether or not that's a good thing is debatable. All right, that's all the ranting I got in me for today. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see if I have some more of these rants in my system. Enigma out.